It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
That's right. Episode 6. Second episode this week. Why? Because these shows are so god-awful. I'm covering them way too fucking fast is a problem. Alright, so this week, episode 6 is from October 9, 1995, at the Rosemont Horizon, Rosemont, Illinois. Except that, of course, if you watch this on the network, it is built from Chicago, which is whatever. That's your boy Bischoff. Speaking of, it is hosted by Eric Bischoff, Bobby Heenan, and Steve Mongo McMichael. Dark matches this week. Paul Orndorff defeats the Renegade. Diamond Dallas Page defeats Alex Wright to retain the World Television Championship. I'm not sure when the TV champion is actually going to defend the title on television on Nitro, but I'm sure we'll get there at some point. I don't know. We'll see. Stranger things have been known to happen. All right, so then Eddie Guerrero defeats Dean Malenko, which is that rematch from last week. But, of course, it's a dark match, so, you know, awesome. And the Taskmaster goes over on Randy Savage in a dark match. Good grief. Show kicks off with the announcers waxing philosophical about the Bears winning the Super Bowl. A decade ago before Stinger comes out to cut a promo on Macho and Luger before his match. Sting, who is the U.S. champion at the time, defeats Shark to retain the championship. Gave the match
0.0.
And that was being very, very generous on my part, by the way. Jesus Christ. Just an absolute squash match. Shark was blown up in about 20 seconds. And it was just basically Sting having to move 300 and some odd pounds of John Tenta around the ring for 1 minute and 17 seconds. Jesus. All right, commercial break and another recap from Mustache Trim by the Dungeon of Doom on Hogan after the Sullivan Granny outfit attack. Halloween Havoc promo of the Sumo Monster Truck match, followed by a Sabu defeating Jerry Lynn in a mask for some unknown fucking reason. I still don't understand why Jerry Lynn's under a mask. But Mr. JL is making his Nitro debut and gets jobbed out to Sabu in 4 minutes 28. I gave that one 2 out of 5. There's a decent-sized group of smarks in the building who keep chanting Jerry, Jerry, Jerry as Lynn came out. And then later on in the match started chanting Hogan sucks, which is pretty good. I kind of marked out to them, if I'm honest. Anyways, the cameramen at ringside are not used to shooting this kind of a match and got in the way more than they captured any of the actions. Most of the better shots came from the hard cam, which Lynn and Sabu had to play to and did a pretty good job of playing to it. So 2 out of 5 for that one. Promo after that of Benoit arriving at CN Tower / WCW headquarters. Of course, on the network, there is no jump to for this, or indeed Chris Benoit's name. Because, well, please. If you need me to go through that, you're sort of hopeless at this point. All right, so then after that, there's an awkward in-ring promo between Sting, Luger, and Macho. Gets his own entrance. Disco Inferno comes out and uses a boombox after his intro gets cut out. Big Bubba Rogers defeats Road Warrior Hawk by countout at 1 minute 39. That one gets a 1. To be, you know what? I'll get there. Hold on. Disco puts a WCW purple hat on Hawk's shoulder spike, which was sort of funny, I guess. I mean, Glenn's known as being a bit of a prankster. But Hawk doesn't actually have a sense of humor to speak of, so probably not the smartest thing to do. Hawk's in rough shape. He's botching all over the place. Disco comes back out to dance some more, and Hawk gets himself counted out, fighting halfway to the back with Disco Inferno. This match got its points solely because it did absolutely nothing for anyone and made Hawk look like a moron. And I like when something is such an absolute fucking clusterfuck that no one can explain it, even in hindsight. I feel like this is going to become a common theme, but I'm not quite sure why. Mean Gene in-ring promo when he announces Hogan's coming out. There's a ton of heat, which Gene no sells like a pro. This is the beginning of Bischoff piping in crowd pops for Hogan's appearances, because no matter what Hogan does, he's not getting over the way the WCW execs thought he was going to get over and the way Eric Bischoff sold him as getting over. He's really struggling to get over at this point. And it's going to take the better part of a year here from this point for him to start getting over. But I don't want to jump the gun and spoil it for those of you that never even saw this. So anyways, the Man in Black promo. I swear to God, that's what people on the internet call it. The Man in Black promo. Went over like a lead brick, but it generated a ton of heat. Had this been NWO Hogan, it would have been what they were looking for. But it's a classic Hogan shit promo. I don't know. Hogan shoots on Vince having too big an ego for Hogan to stay in the WWE and puts over the WCW. But again, we're not at war yet, so whatever. And Hogan's fake and baked tan is fucking out of control. He's starting to look like tanned leather. Giant shows up in his monster truck with Sullivan screaming at security and Zodiac having a seizure in the box. I mean, it was see, I'm not going to say that Vince McMahon is a genius by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not true. But he does have an eye for what's going to work and what's not going to work. And if what he thinks you're trying to do is not going to work, he'll let you go out there and bury yourself. Unless you're John Cena or a Hogan or somebody that he really wants to build something around, then he'll stop you and make you not do it. That being said, this is what happens when Hogan is left in charge of his own booking. And this is Hogan, Sullivan, and Eric Bischoff putting their heads together to come up with this whole fucking Hogan's Black, whatever the fuck bullshit. We're going to abandon this in a couple of months, but until then, we're going to have to put up with the fucking Fan of the Opera masks and the wearing all black spandex like he's a jilted fucking Orange County wife. Like, God damn it. Anyways. Same Halloween Havoc promo vignette from 15 minutes ago plays again. Just in case you didn't know Halloween Havoc was coming up. McMichaels and his dumb fucking dog are now in Bears gear. Brain insists that the wheels on Giant's truck are 25 feet tall, even though with Giant standing next to them, he's still taller than the tires. Security keeps taking them apart outside the venue, keeping, Hogan and Giant away from one another. I'm not quite sure why, but whatever. And then we're finally getting the main event, a steel cage match, which got pretty much no build all night long and pretty much was left up to Flair and Anderson to put over and build and everything. So Flair practically runs to the ring with the bell ringing before his music fades out. Arn gets no entrance again, of course. And Pillman comes out and gives Arn a quote-unquote foreign object, which were called good old Chicago brass knuckles, which for those of you that don't know, apparently, and we were being educated by Steve Michael that good old Chicago brass knucks is essentially athletic tape taped around your knuckles. Jesus fucking Christ. Whatever. Arn nails Flair with the quote-unquote Chicago brass knuckles and then hides them in his tights. It's a steel cage match. It's no DQ. Why would you even hide them in your tights? The whole thing's done in 4 minutes 44. I gave it 1.5 out of 5. Post-match, Flair breaks Bischoff's headset, ripping it off his head, and he gets to wrap up the show holding the headset back together on the side of his face as Flair challenges Arn to a match at Halloween Havoc, which of course will also not get any kind of build because God knows if there's no monster truck involved, it couldn't possibly be any good. So anyways, this is basically it's horsemen having to put themselves over in order to get anywhere. And I mean, I guess if Hogan had actually had a match, it would be at the top of the card. But because he didn't have a match and he just came out and gave his Man in Black promo, we've got some time to have, good old Ric Flair go out there and job to his buddy. So, Jesus Christ. Like, God damn. Awful. Like, the fucking, it's seriously, it's the worst. Let's see if it actually is we're only on episode 6, so saying it's the worst is sort of subjective. But it is by far, it is the worst Nitro we've had yet. It's truly fucking awful. Pretty much nothing that happens in there makes sense, including Hogan's Man in Black gimmick. The attendance that night, it was 8,500 people, 4,458 of them actually paid. So almost half of the audience was there for free and still didn't put over shit. The whole show I gave 1.5 out of 5. It's just, God damn. I mean, this is not the go home, at least. That's in a couple more weeks. But I can't believe that this fucking Nitro tied Raw this week with a 2.6. That, to me, is just baffling. But the interesting thing with the ratings is whatever you got in the ratings this week affects your viewership next week. So if you get good ratings this week, you'll probably have good ratings next week. If you get shit ratings this week, you'll probably get shit ratings next week. The idea is that you slowly build your ratings over time, or you promote the shit out of the fucking show, and then you just keep bringing back that audience and building it, which will eventually happen. I mean, once we start getting the NWO involved in this, then we start seeing some threes, like some mid to high threes. And, by 97, let's see, we got 97. How far we 97, we got some 4s. Ooh, nipping on the heels. Oh, we got a 5 in 97. So, I mean, we will get there. And, of course, by 98, things start to go back and forth. But, like, in 95, wrestling was still in a bit of a downturn. And the actual ratings on these shows is showing it. We've got a pay-per-view coming up for the WWF, which will be the In Your House on October 22nd. So in a couple weeks, we'll talk about that a little bit because the Nitro on the very next night does another abysmal performance post WWF pay-per-view. So that's going to be it for this week. That's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. See you animals again next week.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.